Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu Alaykum. It's a pleasure to have you here. My name is Aya and I am a master's student, more specifically a biomedical engineering master's student with an undergrad or a bachelor's in microbiology and immunology, and more specifically molecular microbiology and immunology. I just wanted to show you today what it's like to go to engineering school without having an undergrad in engineering. If you ever thought of taking this path, if you have an undergrad in STEM and other than engineering, of course, and you thought of taking up a master's in engineering, this video might be for you. Or if you're just watching for fun, then that's great also. So today I wanted to take you through some of the changes that I had to make to my schedule, to my method of learning, method of studying, like transitioning from a bachelor's degree to a master's in engineering. And I think that's about it. I think I'll say the rest in the video. The first point I'd actually like to make is a comparison between the amount of studying time required between courses I've taken last year when I was an undergrad versus this year when I'm in master's. And it is worthy to note that last year I had taken some cross-listed courses, biology/engineering, which I've done pretty well on, and they weren't taking as much time as my courses now are taking. So last year in undergrad in general, a full-time load or a full-time semester would be like 12 credits or more. So I had either 12 or 13 credits, and it would amount to approximately like 4 classes, right? So for each class I would allocate 6 hours, and this included class time, right? So if class time was 3 hours a week, then that would mean I would have 3 hours of class and 3 hours of self-studying time during the week for that course. Now, things are a bit different. Now most of my classes are actually between 4 and 6 hours a week classes, if not more. And they require much more self-studying time too. If I wanted to quantify the amount of time it takes me for each class now, I could say that for each 3 credit course, it takes me between 9 and 10 hours of study a week. So I'm taking now 10 credits, which means I'm actually doing more than 30, so 30, and I'm doing about 35 to 36 hours of studying in total per week. And that of course includes classes and group works and all of that, but definitely a big change. And I noticed really the impact of the amount of studying time that I have to do every day when I miss a day of studying, when I feel like I'm not focused enough, I'm having a bad headache or something like that, which happened once or twice so far. If that had happened last semester or last year, I would not study that day. I would of course go to class, but I would not study afterwards, and I would be able to catch up pretty fast. But this year or this semester, if I miss a day, I'll probably feel the impact that week. If I want to stay on schedule and study all the hours that I have to study for that week, I will probably have to sleep until 3 or 4 a.m. someday in order to finish all that studying. So definitely I definitely feel the difference in the amount of studying when it comes to actually having to skip a day of studying or something like that. When it comes to the second point, which is the studying method, I don't think much has changed. Before, since I had biology, some computer science, and some engineering or cross-listed courses in my schedule, I would have my time divided between understanding biology concepts versus developing my programming skills versus actually doing some computational biology or something like that. But now, it is true that it is a bit different. Now, a lot of my time is spent on practicing how to solve mathematical equations. More specifically, mathematical equations related to concepts that we're studying, for example, microfluidics or nanotechnology or something like that. So yeah, a bit of a difference there between what I was studying before versus what I'm studying now. But that could also be just due to the fact that I'm kind of diverging from what I was studying before. Before I was going into, like I said, microbiology, immunology, and in the molecular scale. So very, very tiny, very, very biology and like concepts oriented. Now it's more physics, right? And how to apply math and physics and how to introduce those concepts, those biology concepts that I was studying before, and involve them in engineering and create something new with that. So definitely the difference that I've noted. The third point I'd like to make is the difference in the amount of deadlines that I have to meet every single week. So last year I had every class would have a couple group assignments or group presentations per semester, right? But today or this semester, every week I would have anything between 1 to 3 submissions to do, and they're all in group settings, right? So as we would have a lab or multiple labs, since I have multiple classes, multiple labs involve multiple reports to submit, multiple pre-lab reports to submit, and definitely more presentations and projects and such. So definitely more submissions and definitely more group work this semester versus the last ones. The next point I'd like to make is about something I've struggled with in the first about 3 weeks, and I think I've just gotten over this week, which is outsider syndrome. So a lot of my classes, or most of my classes really, have some undergrad students in them, and obviously since it's an engineering institute or an engineering university, they're undergrad engineering students, and even the non-undergrad students, the master's students and the PhD students, they have undergrads in engineering, right? So it is only in one of my classes that I found somebody that was also doing a master's in engineering who was not an engineer or did not have an undergrad in engineering. So definitely felt a lot of outsider syndrome, and I think it got a bit worse when the person I just mentioned actually dropped the course that we had together. So I felt like maybe I actually didn't know my limits and I was walking into something blindly, and this was way bigger than me and I couldn't handle all of this. But obviously I got over it now, and but yeah, definitely had a big impact on my morale the first 3 weeks. Outsider syndrome is not to be taken lightly. I previously had read about it and heard people speak about it, and I always thought, probably because of my confidence, I always thought that, oh yeah, you could just get over it, but it is not that simple. You ultimately will just get over it if you put your mind into it, but it's not going to happen like this. So you're definitely going to need some time and constantly thinking about it and constantly correcting your thoughts about how you're approaching your master's, if it's a master's that you're thinking about, or your PhD or whatever it is, or whatever project that you're really approaching at the moment, right? So You really have to put effort into correcting your thoughts that you're putting into this project. Another thing that is really nice about being in engineering school is not really academics related, but more activities and clubs related. So in our engineering school now, I noticed that all the clubs are really like technical clubs, right? So it's all about engineering, biomedical engineering, engineering aeronautics, engineering electrical, or even like clubs that combine all of this together, right? So if you're interested in engineering, you really get to study it, and at the same time, you get to be a part of a club and actually participate in competitions and like design very, very nice things and very complicated things that you would think, oh, I can't design that. But then you're in a group and you can actually make those things and participate in competitions. I guess it would be an incredible experience. I still haven't gotten the time to look into joining any clubs, but I definitely am thinking about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this was it for today. This was my experience 1 month into my Master's of Engineering, and I hope you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you next time. Assalamu Alaykum.